Many years ago when I first started gardening, I never imagined that a Zone 5 garden could look like this in late October. In the early days, our garden was pretty much done by this time of year. Our tomatoes, peppers, corn, cucumbers, and beans were done producing, and we were cleaning up the garden for the winter. We didn't realize we could still be growing a wide variety of healthy, nutritious crops at a time when temperatures were dipping near or below freezing. Of course, our current garden is a very different story. Today I thought I'd share with you the changes we've made over the years to ensure we're still growing and harvesting a lot of food in late October, at a time when we used to be cleaning up the garden for winter. The first change we made was to grow a lot more cold-hardy crops. Needless to say, if we only grew plants like tomatoes and peppers that are native to the tropics, we'd have a very short growing season here in Zone 5. So to get an early jump in the spring and to grow into the fall, we grow a lot more cold-hardy crops. When I walk through the garden today, it still feels like I'm making my way through an obstacle course. I have to push plants out of the way just to make it through the paths. Except for the tomatoes and beans, all of the plants you see here can handle a frost without a problem. Many will continue well into November and some into December without protection. Some of the crops in our garden that can survive a light frost without protection are artichokes, beets, carrots, celery, endive, lettuce, Swiss chard, perpetual spinach, arugula, radicchio, and bok choy. And some that can survive a hard frost without protection are kale, collards, mustard greens, parsley, radishes, spinach, turnips, sunchokes, dandelion greens, French sorrel, red vein sorrel, mache, claytonia, and minutina. Next, let's take a closer look at two of my favorite cold-hardy crops that are growing right here in this bed. This perpetual spinach was planted along with summer crops in the spring. It produced all summer long and continues to thrive into the fall. We've harvested it aggressively using a cut-and-come-again approach, and it just keeps on producing. Right next door, dinosaur kale that was started way back in March continues to thrive. As with perpetual spinach, we harvest kale using a cut-and-come-again approach. With any luck, we'll keep coming back for more into December. Succession planting cold-hardy crops is another strategy that allows us to have an abundance of food in late October. Carrots and beets, for example, do well here spring through fall. To ensure ample carrots and beets in late October, we continued to plant them all summer long as crops were harvested and space became available. And crops that only like cool weather, like turnips, radishes, spinach, and lettuce, were planted in late summer for a fall harvest. In addition to our intentional succession planting, there's a natural form of succession that takes place with our self-sowing cold-hardy greens. Years ago, we realized that many cold-hardy greens are excellent self-sowers. If we simply let them drop their seeds, they come back year after year with no additional effort or expense. They also sprout when the time is right. Currently, some of our self-sowing greens are already mature, some are well on their way, and some are just getting started. This gives us a perfect succession of greens through the fall and into the winter. Some of our most prolific self-sowing greens include mustards, radicchio, parsley, red vein sorrel, claytonia, and mache. Another breakthrough occurred when we started growing cold-hardy edible perennials. Egyptian walking onions, red vein sorrel, French sorrel, good King Henry, and dandelion greens are some of the earliest crops to emerge in the spring and are still growing strong in late October. And sunchokes can be harvested in the fall and well into the winter. Our sunchoke flowers are currently about 12 feet tall, and we've just started to reach into the soil every now and then for a few tubers. We'll remove the flower stalks and harvest more tubers after the first hard frost, which improves their flavor. Over the winter, we'll cover the small bed with storm windows, which will keep the soil from freezing and allow us to harvest sunchokes all winter. All of the cold-hardy crops I've talked about have no trouble surviving most Octobers here in Chicago. However, they do need a little help to keep going into November. That's where cold frames and hoop houses come in. Here in our winter garden bed, crops will have 2 layers of protection. We'll build a walk-in hoop house over the entire bed, and inside we'll have low tunnels and cold frames. These 2 layers of protection will create a microclimate equivalent to Zone 7 or 8, and will allow us to grow many crops including lettuce, mache, and claytonia all winter long. They'll also give us an earlier spring harvest. In addition to the winter garden bed, these two beds will also be under protection this winter. In this bed, our sea kale and artichokes are only hardy to zone 6, but a hoop house should enable them to survive our zone 5 winter. In this bed, we hope to keep our tree collards alive all winter with 2 layers of protection. All of these measures have helped us to continue to have abundant harvests in late October, a time when we used to be cleaning up the garden for winter. As we close, I'll share pictures from our October garden that are posted on the 1 Yard Revolution Facebook page. I'll also share some pictures of recipes we make using cold hardy crops. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, remember, you can change the world 1 yard at a time.